No doubt he's been working hard this offseason, not only to make sure his first year with the Bucs goes as well as possible, but also to prove a few people about him wrong. Maybe some of those people hail from New England. I don't know. Brady's latest workout included newest Buck, LeSean McCoy, who had some high praise for the GOAT. Take a listen to this, guys.
He looked real good. I mean, and as he's throwing the ball, you know, I hear a couple of guys whispering like, dang, how many years do you think he'll play? And that's how good he looked, seriously. I mean, me and Gronk talked about it, like his will to win, his will to go out there and still keep doing it. I mean, once you see a guy like that kind of display that attitude, I mean, you want to be part of it. You know, that's like a sense of me, like, man, how much longer can I do it? You know, so he looked good today. He looked in good shape. He threw the ball very well. And he like a coach with a helmet on.
I mean, give me
safety first for LeSean McCoy. Wilds, you're excited. You know you are. Nick, is there any question in your mind that Brady at age 43 can still dominate? Clearly his teammates who watched him practice the last couple weeks think so.
Well, listen, far be it for me to disagree with all-time Kansas City Chief legend and Super Bowl champion LeSean McCoy. But here's my concern. My concern is that we have seen the clear evidence that Tom Brady, while maybe on the practice field as he's doing the Dak right there, is the same as he's ever been. Tom Brady in the game, particularly in the face of a pass rush, is not the same player he once was. Now, for Tom, this is a brilliant opportunity because he can, similar to Kurt Warner, who was written off after his time with the Giants and then had an unbelievable run with the Cardinals. Hell, not that dissimilar to Mike Vick when he was out of the league and then came back with Philadelphia and said, he's a backup quarterback now, and then he almost won league MVP. Brady can say, I'm still here, America, and if he's great, the Bucs will be awesome. Like the Bucs defense, the last 6 weeks of the season was a top 5 defense. They have all these weapons on the outside, Mike. To me, the biggest question mark is, do they have a great quarterback, a good quarterback, an average quarterback, or a below average quarterback? I think it's going to be option C or D, an average or a below average quarterback. But Mike, if he's excellent, there's no reason Tampa shouldn't be an 11-12 win football team.
Yeah, without a doubt. And you know, when you look at Tom Brady right now, his physical attributes, it still looks the same as it was, 5 or 6 years ago. I don't see any deterioration, just in his throwing motion, in his footwork, in his movement. And when you come to work every day and you see a guy like Mike Evans, you see Chris Godwin, it's limitless opportunities within the offense. You can't cover the whole field. So if Tom is just average this season, but, Mike Evans continues to take the top off the coverage. He's a 1,000-yard receiver. Then you got Chris Godwin, who's going to compliment. And then Gronkowski. Tom's job is going to be way easier, and I think he knows that. Paired up with Bruce Arians and Brian Leftwich, they know what they have, within this team right now. And so Tom doesn't have to go out and be great. Tom just has to lob it up to Mike Evans here and there, give him an opportunity to stretch the field. He got great backs in Shady and a couple other guys who can fill the void. So this offense is going to move, the way it's supposed to move. And Tom has to be excited every day he walk into this building and he's around his teammates because the sky's the limit. Those guys wonder how long he's going to play because they want to know how long the window opportunity is they have to win the Super Bowl because they know it can happen with the GOAT.
Is there other footage out there that we don't have? Like LeSean McCoy is talking about Tom Brady like we're looking at Madden Vick. And it's just normal old practice footage from my high school, it looks like. We had the same colors, Fitch Hawkins. So, Mike, I guess the question is this. How much of this – this is my favorite move, though. How much of this is Tom Brady's reputation and resume that LeSean McCoy is talking about? Because I don't see, great pass right there. I couldn't make that one. And how much of it is actual things that he's seeing? Like, is this more reputation than, actual evidence?
It's definitely reputation. When you think about what Tom has accomplished And like I said, you look at him throwing the football at 43 years old, you see him dropping back. I mean, he looks like Tom Brady. And guys believe in that. They believe in him. And it's right now it's more verbal than it is physical. So they're gravitating to everything that he's saying and what comes out of his mouth. And that's a cool thing. You know, I think LaShawn, he understands that, you know, playing with a great quarterback like Tom, you know, can enhance everybody. So it's not just about what they're doing right now. It's about what he's done in the past. And like you said, his resume. That's what
Gotcha.
You know, that's where it's all coming from.
You said it, Mike. Brady definitely has a share of weapons to choose from this season, that's for sure. Speaking of weapons, Cowboy up Dallas has a bevy of them as well. Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, and the recently drafted CeeDee Lamb. Amari Cooper loves this receiving core, says, quote, I think the expectation here is to have 3,000-yard receivers this year. Nick, that's going to help Dak Prescott for sure. What's the ceiling for Dak in this Cowboys offense this coming season?
The ceiling for the Cowboys offense is to be a top 3 offense in the NFL, to be the best offense in the NFC, and to be the leading reason the Cowboys make their first Super Bowl in a quarter century. That's the ceiling, and that's not wholly unrealistic given the personnel they have and given the trajectory that Dak, at least statistically, appears to be on. So much of the conversation surrounding Dak has been about his contract, but he's never hurt. And I don't think he's a great quarterback, but we have seen quarterbacks of the very good variety with those types of weapons take their teams on deep playoff runs. I have in front of me right here a few things. I've got my all 256 game predictions of the schedule.
Yes.
And then I have on this folder
Laminated.
my predicted standings that have the Cowboys currently at 11-5. The back of this folder at some point is going to have my playoff predictions. I haven't quite gotten in the lab and made those yet. But I wouldn't be surprised if I picked the Cowboys to make the Super Bowl. If the biggest issue last year was coaching, and they have a clear upgrade from Jason Garrett to Mike McCarthy, I think they did well this offseason, bring in CeeDee Lamb, Gerald McCoy, and I know they lost Travis Frederick, but they played without Travis Frederick in 2018. It is, given the controversy in Green Bay, the fact that I'm not sold on the Bucs. Now, I do like what Seattle did a lot. Like the NFC is very deep. But, Mike, I think the ceiling for the Cowboys is to be a great offense, not a good offense, a great offense, and with the improved coaching, make the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I have very high expectations for the Dallas Cowboys, and I think, you know, where it's all going to stem from is you know, Zeke being able to, you know, put up 9, 10, 100-yard games throughout this season. The running game is going to be very important. You know, Dak's success is going to be predicated on how well they run the football. I also want to see the offensive line bounce back a little stronger this year. You know, I felt like the last 2 years, you know, it wasn't a regression, but it wasn't the best plan, and I think it hurt Dak at times. But, you know, collectively, you know, like Amari said, look, they could do some amazing things on offense. I mean, Amari's going to have to step up big, you know, and win his one-on-one matchups week in and week out. You know, sometimes he get lost, you know, throughout the course of a game. But adding CeeDee Lamb and some speed to the outside, you know, is going to free it up for him. It's certainly going to open up the offense for Dak a little more. But, you know, for Dak, he don't want it any other way right now. He shouldn't want it any other way. The ball is in his hands. The ball is in his court. You know, arguably one of the best offenses, you know, in the National Football League right now, and I think he has to take it by the reins and run with it.
Mike, when we talk about 3 1,000-yard receivers, this is a list. I'm going to just read you some names. These are some teams that got close to having 3 guys. The Chargers had Austin Eckler. Oh, this is a different graphic. These are the teams that actually did it. So it's only been done 5 times in NFL history. Here are some teams that came close. Austin Eckler, 2014, the Patriots, Gronkowski. 2012, the Saints with Jimmy Graham. The Falcons with Tony Gonzalez. In 2012, Dallas with Jason Witten. The thing that all those names have in common, they're not wide receivers. So is the idea, since it's only happened 5 times ever, and the last few times it's happened, you got a mix of running backs and tight ends, is there such thing as having like too many wide receivers, or there's just not enough plays to go around? How difficult is this to, you know, give 3 guys 1,000 yards?
Absolutely not. When I was in Pittsburgh playing with Antonio Brown, Martavis Bryant, and Marcus Wheaton, I looked at those guys and I felt like each one of them could have 1,000 yards receiving. They was explosive. You know, they had speed good in and out of breaks. They knew how to play the game. And when I look at this receiving core, and when I was thinking about this morning, you know, I thought about those three guys that I played with in Pittsburgh. You know, it's very well possible. I think it'll all be dictated by, you know, how well Dak distributes the ball and the play calling from Mike McCarthy.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.